QXTV to you on YouTube has been a real labor of love, but we're going to ask one little favor, that you click on the like option below and the subscribe option below. That's right, like us and subscribe to us. And if you want to know every time we load up a video, you can click on the notification bell and that will let you know every time we load up a video. But if you don't want to necessarily know every time we load up a video, you just want to like us and subscribe to us, just click on those options below so that we can continue bringing you this channel for years to come. Thank you for watching QXT. Hello and welcome to this edition of Caribbean House Talk. In Caribbean House Talk, we always aim to bring you the issues from funny to curious and even tearfully serious. And I'm here today with my co-host. So ladies, are you ready to roll?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
We are.
All right. We always start off with a spicy dish. And with spicy dish, you never know what's going to come out of that dish. I mean, we all had some kind of, we try to make it democratic, like our actual suggestions. And we kind of try to make it, you know, like I said, democratic. But we never know at that point which ones we're going to pick out. You know, I probably will have some idea. But even then, I still don't know exactly which one is coming out first. So that puts a little mystery into it. So we're going to start off with a spicy dish. And Lady H, we're going to have you pick that first topic.
I can't read it.
I have to.
Is it okay to date someone who is separated and not divorced?
Oh Lord.
Who is separated and not divorced? I think yes and no, because you're separated. I would say no, it's not okay. It's not okay because that person could go back to what they had,
right,
or thought they had, you know, and they could work it out. So I would prefer.
And it happens when they
happens
realize
a lot, yeah.
Women are people, and hey, maybe it's not that bad back over here, you know, anymore.
Yeah.
And so now you become invested, and now this person goes back. That happens. Also, it depends on how serious you're going as well. Okay, what if you like living with this person, but they're not divorced, but something happens, you don't have a leg to stand on.
Right.
You know, unless you live in certain states.
Right.
And even then, no, because he's married, so you haven't got a leg to stand on.
Yeah.
So am I going to say that I'm going to put people down from a moral standpoint? I would just say from a common sense standpoint.
Yeah.
Not morally, but from a common, because
no,
I would have a problem if the person broke them up. Like they got in there, they were interloping in that relationship. I would say that, okay, from a moral standpoint, you shouldn't do that. But I could see where sometimes people are separated and people are being spiteful. I'll give you an example. When I separated from one of my husbands, you guys probably know which one. But both of them, they both didn't want to sign the document. You know, the thing is people trying to see what they can get, you know, and they're trying to be spiteful. And didn't want to sign the document. And I am like, I just want out. I want to move on with my life. So at one point I started to date. Now, so it's not just men. When we think about that, we just think in men. No, women, we date too before we finalized. And there came a point where I think, if I want to be honest, I was dating just to keep my sanity. At least that's where my head was at. You know, this guy's not signing the papers. I'm done with him. We're done with each other. He needs to get a grip. I'm going to move on. Well, the truth of the matter is you really can't move on. You know? And I dated someone. And when the point came where he finally signed the document and I was divorced, I had no interest in that person. You know what I mean? I had no interest because it was like, what this was really about was more mentally. I was trying to just stabilize myself, and it was crazy. And it wasn't fair to bring another person into that situation anyway, because you're not truly theirs. They can't truly make you make you theirs. Yeah. So no, I don't think from a common sense point of view, I don't think it makes sense. But I do know that in terms of the other stuff, it sometimes happens because, again, people are being spiteful. They're not signing the documents. You're done. They're done, but they're trying to get money from you. They're not signing. And so what do? Just live in limbo? You know, so it's a difficult one, but it's just, you got to realize that there's no win situation there.
And a lot of baggage comes with it too, you know? Because here I am dating that person and he's separated. What is he going to talk about? Is what's going on, you know? He's looking for that somebody to release himself. I don't think it's fair. So it's not right. It's too much baggage.
Because I was full of rage.
That's what I'm
from
saying.
this person. I was full of
yeah.
rage. So was I even giving that person the best thing I could give them? I couldn't.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it all depends on the individual involved, because you could be separated and not going back to your wife or your husband,
But it
and
happens a lot.
you're dating someone that you really care about, and that person could be married too and separated from their husband or wives, and the two of you get together and you could make things work. But if you know that you are going to get a divorce, or you're going in the process of being divorced, and you really like someone and you're dating that person, and again, honest truth and honesty, you let that person know the situation you're in, and if they agree that okay, we could make this work, we get your divorce, we'll be together, or fine. I don't see anything wrong with that, and I truly believe in love, and love comes in different ways and angles, and sometimes you're in positions that you really care and love someone, but because of the situation that person is in, you're not going to pass that person up because he was in that situation or she was in that situation, because you know one way or the other it's not going to be there forever. But at the same time, is this person willing to stay with you and make things work with you regardless, without even thinking of going back to that previous relationship?
Well,
So it all depends.
I think
Yeah,
the
but
length of time they ought to make too.
Everything also,
Sometimes
it
I think
depends
that's
on
a bit
how
that
much
long.
time too.
Yeah.
If a person's been separated for 6 months, I'd be careful about that, because that means that they're still in a confused state of mind,
Still
and
raw.
they may go back. Now I happen to have friends who have been separated and not formally divorced from their husbands for over 20 years.
No,
Okay.
no.
Whoa.
Then I would.
They live they
Sorry.
live their lives. They don't live together, but they just never bothered to get a divorce. You know what I mean? And I don't know what the reason is, but they're happy. They do their own thing. That person is very involved in his child's life. She's grown now, but he's been very involved, and even to this day. But they live their separate lives. I don't judge, because I don't know why they do that. To me, it would be like you might as well have gotten divorced.
Yeah, once I'm done with
So
you,
if you're not with somebody for 2, 3, 4 years and you're still separated, yeah, you should be able to date. And that would be the question for me.
How long?
think.
Yeah.
How long has this been? And then why aren't you divorced if it's been a long time? You know. So I would ask the questions before I go and get heavily involved with someone like that, because I have a big issue with dealing with any married man. I'm like no. But that's something I think you need to ask the questions.
I understand that too, and it all depends. It really all depends, because every situation is different. Every situation is different, so it all depends. And you said don't judge. You can't judge. You don't know. You don't know what these people are facing, what they're going through,
Right.
why they're doing what they're doing. You don't know. So
But again, ladies,
let it go.
you ask questions.
Ask questions. of
Ask
course.
questions.
be
Know how long
married.
he's been, and what's the reason? You both said some important thing there. What's the reason that they're not divorced? How long have they been separated? Then you want to make sure you're not going into a scene with drama, where the ex-wife is there, with the drama. So it's a difficult one. And my first marriage, it took 5 years to unravel, to finally get a divorce. He would not sign those papers, and he was living with somebody. I wasn't the one living with anybody.
I mean,
but he
there's
will
another
not.
case.
So he would not sign those papers, and I dated the whole damn time. Once he was out the house,
There you go.
I dated him.
5 years.
But then-
Should you not date?
Exactly.
Why
I did.
not?
Listen, I was younger than him too. Hell no, girl. I was dating,
But then,
but I never lied to anybody. You know.
if you are dating, if you separated and for 5 years, and this other person living with someone, this person he's living with doesn't have any concern that you're not signing these papers for your wife.
Well, she had no pride in
She
herself.
doesn't know.
No, I mean, are you kidding me? She lived 2 blocks from me.
But
Then
I'm
I'm
when I-
saying
when I
maybe
kicked
she
him out-
did not know that he wasn't legally divorced.
Oh
or
no.
why he
When
didn't sign
I
it.
kicked him out, he
no.
moved right into her place too, and I found out they were having an affair.
Okay,
Yes, before we
that's
were
a whole
divorced.
nother
Yeah.
messy.
So that was a whole This chick knew.
that's
This
a
wasn't
whole
any case where
different
she didn't know.
story.
So at this
Yeah.
case, I'm gonna say. So as I'm saying, I brought this up to say, Yeah, no, I'd love to tell you all my dirt.
Ask the
I'm an open book.
questions.
But
Ask
but
the
but
questions.
here's the thing. This is the best type of therapy for me, honey.
Uh-huh.
I don't need to go to listen. Watch Dr. Phil and be a Caribbean house talk. I just get to hear. But in a serious note, I felt that with my ex-husband, he's living with somebody. I'm still a young woman at this point. I should not date because you're living. You've been unfaithful. Even while we were married, I finally got enough of you. I kicked you out. Now you are going to hold up a divorce. I spent thousands of dollars to get out of that marriage. Had to pay him. Not that I had to, but just to get it. That's what I end up doing to kind of sweeten the pot. Just say, and that's why I tell people I'm very leery about sharing my finances. I'm very leery about getting serious with anybody. Like when they're living with me, I'm married. I would never marry again.
You have reasons.
But I have reasons because I've had to pay that man to get out of that marriage. That's what got him to sign the papers. Okay, I wasn't lucky enough to get anything from him. And a pitiful little child support check. It wasn't even $100.
What's holding you hostage?
It was holding me hostage. So, because I was the person who, would go out there and do what I have to do. And I felt like I needed to date. So I make no apology. I dated my head off. Okay, I dated my head off. I went out. I had a good time. I'm good. I'm telling you. The second marriage, we took about 2 years or so for that to unravel. It probably started before that, but to the point where we are like not a husband or wife. And I could not get this guy out of my house. He walked into my house. He hung up his hat. He had nothing to do with my property or anything that I had. And when the time came, he ain't trying to get out. He's being spiteful and literally doing things that I felt was intended to drive me insane. So I thought, no. So I used to go out. I went out. I was, out dating. And honestly, I know I was just dating just to keep my sanity.
Yeah.
And I remember one night, I could never forget, I went out on a date, and when the date was over, I sat in my car. I didn't want to go home. And that's when I realized. And the minute that he signed those papers and we were officially divorced, I didn't want to see the other person. Because it was like, this wasn't about you. But it's something you got to be careful with too. That people might be dating you as a way of escape and not genuinely. From both sides, male or female.
Like a rebound.
Right. The person was not a bad person. Weirded at me hands on foot.
Yeah.
Was really nice. But just, I was not feeling after I got rid of the legal noose around my neck. I was like, I don't feel like dating you anymore. Okay? So you got to be careful with that. Sometimes people use you as an escape, and that you got to be careful. Ask the questions that Caroline said. Make sure, like Alma was saying, that you know the full story. Like how long? Yeah. What is the reason that you haven't gotten a divorce? There might be a legitimate reason. Right. This person might be there realizing if I divorce this lady or this man, I'm about to lose my financial shirt, so to speak. And it's just too much. Being the age where they don't want to just start over from scratch. You don't know. People find themselves in that kind of situation. So it certainly depends. Sure. So, next spicy dish item.
Spicy dish item number 2 is... Would you ever fight for deadlift?
Oh, Lord.
What was that?
Would you ever fight for
Inheritance.
deadlift? Oh. Deadlift is like inheritance. Would you fight?
In the Caribbean, we'll say deadlift. But when your parent dead and left something, or somebody dead and left something, and you're trying to get it. Isn't that the root?
I don't fight. I'm sorry. I don't.
Isn't that the root of most issues in families?
Yeah.
You will watch these siblings.
Yeah.
They live good on the surface. The minute mom or dad is getting older, and they smell death approaching, they start the isolation, they start playing games, and they start, and it's all because of that dead left. Is she gonna let the house give this one? Is she gonna let money for this one? And it rips families apart. Yeah. I am not fighting. Listen, the time I'm going to waste energy being at odds with relatives, fighting over something that I want for somebody has walked their tail off for. Get my own. And some of these people that are fighting for that or are positioning themselves for it, it's not that they need it. It's just greed, greed, and greed.
In the Caribbean, they say, mother may have, father may have, Blessed is the child that has his own.
And for some children, blessed is the child who can get some of what mom and dad leave.
Well, yeah, that's the mentality.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's worth it to be fighting.
It's not.
I see members of my family
Oh,
in Jamaica. I've gone to the courts for decades. I guess they even died fighting, you know. And I'm saying, what is it? What is it all about? For piece of land or whatever? Nah.
I remember my mother's family. The mother had 5 of them. One predeceased the mother, died before the mother. And the other 4 were like, they're 2 sets of twins, 2 twin boys, 2 twin girls. My mom and her twin sister, my 2 twin uncles. It is the saddest thing in the world. When I watch how they went to their grave, many of them not talking to each other. And she left a lot of land, her estate, her land. Not that this one had money, but she had a lot of land. And all 4 children that survived her got their piece. But this one think I should have got more. And they take each other to court and they died not talking to each other.
And leave the land.
And the land is right there. I went to visit there the other day to visit my cousin who lived there. And my kids still sitting here and they're all in their grave. My mother's the one who survived it one.
The land.
You can't do
You can't
nothing
move
with
it. It's gonna go. You're gonna go and leave it.
Can't do nothing with it.
Yeah,
Listen.
it's not worth it. If, like you said, if I didn't work for it, I'm not going to fight for it because it's just not worth it. You're fighting for somebody else's stuff. Keep it.
You're a logical person. A lot of people they get crazy when they think about inheriting something extra.
No.
You know, this is what I'm gonna just speak to this a bit. This one touches me in a personal way more than I could even say here. And I'm gonna say this: when your parents get old, you have to think like this. They took care of you when you were an infant. The human animal is the only animal that takes a year or older on the average to walk. Think about that. A little goat, a sheep, a cow, a little calf, they get right up within a few minutes and they're walking. And they know how to feed themselves by just holding on to that mom's, udder or whatever and get some milk. The human baby, if you don't put some milk in his mouth, or his or her mouth, change it, make sure you hold it carefully, totally helpless. So your parents, and this one, oh boy, your parents took it. Okay, there's a reason that this one is touching me, but I'm not going to get into it personally. They took care of us. Why would you make their lives miserable in the end? Fighting against your siblings to position for inheritance. Lying on each other. Fighting each other for foolishness. And letting those poor old people have to grieve in their last days. Instead of being able to enjoy their children, all of their children and their grandchildren. That's a serious one. And that dead life stuff, it's a horrible thing. It's a horrible, horrible thing.
I would think too, not for say educational wise, but I know a lot of educated people are very dumb and ignorant when it comes to sharing and loving and giving, and they make themselves look like fools when they sit up there trying to inherit something that they know they don't deserve, and knowing the truth that that's behind the whole process, and they still go out and try to show you how ignorant and stupid they are, when everybody's like, why are you doing this to each other? People from the outside are looking in and they're seeing the nonsense that's taking place between these people, knowing that they could have done better or they can do better with whatever resources they have. They can pull that together, come together and make like a big, grand, happy union, and send whoever it is ailing around you, send that person off with happy, knowing that their life worth something in the end. Because they struggled. Women back home struggled raising their children, regardless of how much husband they have. Because the husband will go to a certain point and they cut off. But mothers, they go to the end. And if it comes down to the point where they have to be grieving, you're going to end up with nothing. You're going to be worse than that, because trust me, it's going to pass back down to you.
Yeah.
Your time is coming.
That. Yeah.
Your time is
we gotta
coming.
realize that whatever you do to your parents,
you're
gonna reap that karma in the worst way that you could think about. So think before you're doing that. You know, and it's a lot of projection. You will watch a sibling live well with their siblings. When that mother or father starting to get old, they know what they're up to. So they would project that onto somebody who's not even thinking in the way they're thinking. And it just is a terrible and a painful thing to watch. When you watch your parent aging and you're trying to do well for them, and you got people that are making their life miserable and don't even care because they're so focused on dead left. She gonna sign this over, give this one, and you know, she must want to have a give her this, and oh my God.
Like if they could take it with them too, or if it's gonna serve them. Trust me, that person would not serve you in any way.
Well, it boils down to greed.
It's greed.
Anyway.
It's greed. It's greed. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. It's greed. And it's a hell of a thing. That greed is a hell of a thing. I don't know why this candle just bothers me. It's just mean funny.
You just touch the candle and knock it out to shape. But the bottom line is that you can't take the land, you can't take the house, you can't take anything with you. So why don't you all just enjoy each other, enjoy everything, and just keep it moving? Because trust me, everybody has something. Everybody have their little piece of something, whether it's a piece of money or a little house or a piece of land. Everybody have their own little something because they're all grown people and they do have something, but what they have is not enough. They want more and they want to just grab.
They don't, you know, like there's too much of us. So I want to do something cunning because it's not gonna be anything much by the time you split up.
No, it's the human condition.
10 kids or 8 kids or whatever.
The human condition. That's what it is.
It's terrible. You know what? I know whatever that condition is. I did not inherit it. Thank you, Jesus. Yes. I don't want no part of that. I don't want no part of that.
I agree.
I don't want a part of that. I feel like I was with my parents work hard, but what they have, no kids, none of us children help them to build their house or do anything like that. And so to me, I always focus on getting my own so that I could take care of myself and my family. So I have something to pass on to my children. I have 2 children, and I always say, I don't make a differentiation between who inherits what, except maybe when you're talking about money, one is a young child, so of course I'm going to have to make allowances for him if something should happen to me. He has to go to school. One is grown. But in terms of what they inherit in terms of any kind of property, I don't do that. Now, unless I get to an age where one child neglects me, and then I have to make a different decision, I don't feel that, you know, I want to put them in a position where anyone feel like they're left out from the other. You know what I mean? But even in cases where you don't do that, kids, family members are just greedy. They just want to kill each other over this dead left. Well, I could keep going on about that. All right.
Can talk all day.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just about to say she didn't do the 12 thing.
Okay.
12, my dear.
All right. Last one. Would you ever do online dating?
Oh, Lord.
No.
Well, you're a no because you're married. And
Yeah.
no because I'm married.
You're both married long time, so you two may not be. But think in terms of if Porterfield, some, you know.
Well, I don't know about me, but I know that that's the way people meet today. You know, I when I first heard it, I was like, oh no, my God, that's terrible. Oh no, but this is how people meet. Through social media. They don't meet the same way we did. They don't meet their husbands the way we did. And if you don't meet your spouse in college or, you know, in a church, very few men, in a church or, you know, at work or some organization, this is the way they meet. So it becomes, you have to somewhat accept it. I've had to accept it. I don't like it, but I had to accept it watching my children.
It gets scary though. Before I met Austin, because I was married before, I used to go online, I would confess, and I used to scout every dating, but to pass that, for me, it was hard. You know, you get there and you look at people and you say, wow, and you know, oh, this is a fine man, and this, but I couldn't go past it, like say, okay, get my number to him or whatever. I just couldn't do that. But it is interesting. I wouldn't rule it out if I had to.
Absolutely.
Because,
and I know people who have met their
but
husbands
you just have
like
to
that.
be careful what you do.
I never
You
did
know?
it. I never had to, and I would never do it.
I
Well,
can't do
just
I'm
because
sure
you're not in
I-
a situation.
I will
I
say,
can't say
I will say
no.
never, because I don't think I would date again if anything comes up between me and my husband and we're not together. I don't think I want to.
You're just saying that now.
I
You're just
don't
saying that.
want to.
No,
I
no,
know my heart. I
you
know my
don't.
feelings.
No,
I
here's
know
what
who
I'm
I
saying.
am.
Here's what I'm saying.
I'm not going
Think of
there.
somebody.
Because you're
I'm not.
securing
Think
your
of
marriage.
somebody.
while
You're
thinking
securing
that
your
way.
marriage. You're not there where you have to put your
See,
head
I
there.
cannot tell you guys how I feel about this thing.
No,
because
I know
you're
you
not
feel
gonna
that
understand
right
me,
now. But I'm saying sometimes our
telling you.
feelings change.
Uh-uh.
If we find ourselves in situations like that. But you feel that way right now, and I respect that.
I've been married
Didn't get it.
31 years,
I ain't
okay?
getting it.
And I'm for me, I say, oh no. But also, I've seen what other people go through. So you got to kind of take yourself out of your own situation
Right.
and look at others.
Would you recommend it to your niece
No.
or if you had a daughter? If they were trying to meet somebody and they weren't able to meet anybody, would you
I'm
recommend
not
it?
going
Think
to
about it
recommend
that way.
something like that to anyone because their feelings are their feelings. They know what they want. I know what I want. I
No,
know
but
what I want.
your daughter, or your
No, I
niece come to
wouldn't.
you and say,
Then-
Auntie, I'm trying to date and I'm going online. What would you say? Think about it that way.
Well, this is their time. As you say, this is how they meet people. What I would tell them is if you're going to go online, make sure you do some real serious background research
And they do.
on
They
that
have
person. Because this is their time. I'm not in that time. I've passed that time. I've seen relationships break down. I've seen stuff. I've seen a lot of stuff. I have family members. I have close people to me. I've seen things. And I know what I want.
But not
I
necessarily just
deeply
because
know
of
what
online,
I
though.
want. No. It has nothing to do with online. I'm talking personal stuff right now.
Okay,
I
but
would
let's
not.
stick to the online thing. So
Okay, I didn't know we were sticking
Yeah,
to the
Right, yeah,
online.
let's stick to the online
Yeah.
thing.
But I would not go online and look for a man.
If somebody you know, your niece, your daughter, came to you and say, Auntie or Mom, you don't have a niece, you don't have a daughter, but let's say you have a niece or daughter that came to you and said, I'm dating this guy, met this guy online.
Just
Knowing
check
that
it out.
this is their generation, that's how they do that.
Check it out thoroughly
Mhm.
before you go too far, too fast
Mhm.
into anything. Because it is what it is.
It's not even
You
just generation. This is the 21st century, and that is the way people meet. That's just the bottom line.
But I'm saying people of a certain
To
age,
me.
this is a normal part of life for them. Meaning
Let me-
they
oh,
didn't
no,
they didn't do any other thing. They- this is-
no,
Not that they
you're
don't do
wrong.
any other thing, but
You're wrong. I have friends who are my age. They look online and they date online.
no, you misunderstand what I'm saying.
It's not even
People,
just like a
well,
young
I'm going to
generation.
shock you just now by telling you something. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, it's just like technology. The young people are so comfortable with it because it boomed and came of age with them. This is such a norm for them. Whereas the same thing here, this way of dating is going to be a part of their whole upbringing. It's around them. They've known this to be a part of their norm. So it's not frowned upon. You get some old coot like me, I have to kind of wrap my head around that. You understand what I'm saying? So now I'm gonna shock you guys. I have tried it.
Yeah, that's all right.
I have tried it. I don't like it.
Okay, see?
I don't like it.
Yeah.
We like the
Told you.
personal touch.
I like the personal
Everyone's
stuff. I
different.
think you got a lot of don't get me wrong, people. Y'all know, I tell you, this show is best therapy for me. Okay? To each their own. I think this is a hotbed of where losers hang out and pretend they're something they're not. And the personal thing is not there. I still prefer to date somebody who have some reference points. A friend introduced me. I've known them from whatever. But for me to just meet somebody online and trust them, I tried it. I did not like it. I found that what they're saying online and when you get to meet them, it is two different things.
Yeah.
And I was not comfortable with it. And I eventually just got rid of whatever profile I had or just never used it.
Yeah.
I think maybe they kicked me off. I think I was on like 2 of them. And it was my kids and my colleagues and so forth telling me, I've been divorced at that point for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, Trish, just try that. My kids,
Yeah.
they're worrying more about me than I worry about myself. I'm telling them, listen, I've been married since I was 21. 16 years, then divorced, raised my daughter, married again for 10 years. I haven't had time when I could just put my feet up, live my best life for me, not answer to anybody. So you guys are thinking, oh, Ma, you need to be dating. Maybe she's unhappy. No, have you seen me unhappy? I'm not unhappy. I have people that I can go on a date with. I can call when I have to do something that it might need to take somebody on your arm.
Yeah.
I don't need to bring you home. I don't need to be on the phone with you every night. But that is not to say that I'm talking people out of dating.
Yeah.
That is not to say that I'm talking people from dating online. What I'm saying though, be very careful.
Exactly.
If you meet somebody online, have a separate account. That's what I did. I set up a separate account just for that. Because I didn't trust even giving them my...
Yeah.
And you all know my paranoid anyway. So
Yeah.
okay, so I did that. And then we talked for a while. And then I met 2 different gentlemen at like a Dunkin' Donuts or a Starbucks. Not at my house.
No, you're not supposed to.
I don't want to know where you live or where you know where I live. And no, I did not like it. First of all, when they're saying online, they're saying certain things. When they get online,
Yeah.
I think I told you guys.
Well, you
this.
stimulate.
But you know what? When you
It's
meet
just a
somebody
little
in a
conversation.
club or you meet
The
somebody
conversation was stimulating a
outside,
bunch of
they'll do the
cookery.
same thing. That's the whole thing. They'll do the same thing. They'll
Right.
tell you one thing and you find out they're a totally different liar. You know, somebody had to tell me the good part about it is that you get to talk to somebody and right away, if you're not feeling it, you cut it off. You never even have to waste your time meeting them and all of that. You know, so there's some good points and some bad. You just
You
have
can
to be
weed
very
them out.
careful.
Yeah, you can weed it out.
And
to
it's
some
not,
degree.
you know, like I said, a lot of us, and you know, in our age group, we're used to dating a totally different way. Unfortunately, this is how people meet. I have plenty of friends my age. This is how they meet.
I know a lot of people my age.
It's really unfortunate,
Yeah.
but you either get with it or you may be alone. And everyone would prefer to be introduced to somebody. Have a friend introduce me to a man,
That's
or
different.
have your brother or your cousin introduce you,
There's
or
a
meet
reference
somebody
point.
in church. We all want that, you know.
It is a reference point.
It
but
is a reference point. Still don't make them a good person.
No.
But it is a reference point. We prefer that, but that is just not the reality in most
Today,
cases
right.
nowadays.
I found that a lot. I think I told you guys. One guy, he was so successful, and then later on, when we're supposed to go on a date, he's running late. Got there eventually because he's taking a bus. Dude, I don't date people who don't have a car at my age. Okay? And he said his car was down and he came for the date and I was like, I'm getting a funny feeling, but okay, I'm going to continue this and just see. We're talking. And then the next date, he asked me to pick him up. I did, but I never looked at him. And when he took me out, he treated me like royalty. Like he paid for the date and everything. But just the fact, like, what happened in your life? Are you alcoholic? You got your license taken away? All this shit, you know, my overactive imagination. I'm
Then
like,
you
what?
ask the question.
You know, I'm like, what?
Ask him.
Of course, but he's lying. He's telling you that his car is. I said, well, you said that the other day. Well, your car is still out. Why not just get a rental? Until eventually, I said that on the show already. I said to him, and I remember when we were talking before we actually met up. He said, you know, he'd never date women who don't have. Remember, guys, I told you guys this. Who don't have at least a master's. He has a bachelor's, but he liked to date women who have a master's. First of all, that right there is trying to come to my head to say, this is probably a con person who's looking for women who are successful. So now I have a master's, he had a bachelor's, I didn't care. You know, I didn't care if you have a degree, as long as you're a hard-working, decent man. So one day when it came to me that I just realized this dude did not have a car, I said, listen to me. Well, I didn't care about the masters, but I used it to make a point to him. I said, you remember when we were just talking, you told me you wouldn't date anybody unless they have at least a master's?
Right.
I don't date anybody who don't have a car. I don't date anybody who don't have a car. I said, I am 50-something years of age, and I will not be dating a guy that has to take the bus to come on a date, or I got to go pick him up. We're not teenagers here. And that was it. That was that. I had no interest. No. I'm not dating you and you don't have a car. You don't have to have a fancy car. You don't have to have money. You don't have to have riches. You have to have some place that you live, so you're not trying to push yourself in my house. Okay? You have to have enough where you can take me on a date every now and then. Okay? And be a gentleman. I don't want lies. I don't want games. You don't have a car. Why are you lying? What is wrong with you that you at 50-something don't have a car?
So again, back to ladies. You ask the questions, okay? And if it don't look right and it don't feel right,
cut it.
It's not right.
Dead it. That was dead for me. That was it. That's my feeling about it.
I was just curious. You know, I have this curious thing about me. When they advertise, this has been back a long time, but I'm saying, but I couldn't go forward. I couldn't do it. I just, I just couldn't make the next move. Because I didn't know who I was going to meet out there.
Yeah, you don't know.
I always think about, what's that man who killed all these people?
Bundy.
Bundy.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine if there was online dating back then.
Always.
Excuse me, but the man killed people and they didn't have it. So it's just, that's just the weird, sick person he is. Okay, so I mean, we can't put everything down. We're not gonna put everything down.
I'm probably too old-fashioned for this.
I think if it works for you, this is how people meet, and if you have to do it, you do it. But you proceed with caution in everything you do.
The second guy I dated online, we talked. We met. We met. I think Starbucks or somewhere. I'm like, okay, let's just meet at Starbucks, have a cup of coffee, and I didn't want you to pay for my coffee. I'm just gonna meet and sit with you and see. And it went well. We sat, we talked, and everything. Do you know? No longer had he gotten home, he sent me some naughty pictures on my phone. Text them to my phone. I was like, that's it. And when I talk to people, even my age, they're like, "What's the big deal? Trash people do?" I said, No. You can do that if we have been dating for a long time together. My husband is away on vacation, and he want to just be a little provocative with me. You are not, I'm just talking to you. You have not visited my promised land. You don't have the business sending that for me. Okay? You are not sending those kind of pictures for me. And I was like, and he was like mortified that I was like making a big deal. He does this all the time. I said, that's even a problem with me. That you felt so comfortable doing that. I don't appreciate it. I try to tell people I talk a lot of shit, but I'm very conservative in certain ways. You're not going to pull certain things with me. No.
Yeah. You're right. There's a thing called respect and
the
boundaries.
things that we talk about in the spicy dish.
Yep.
All right, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we are going to go into our Dear Help Team section of the show. And we will be right back. You are watching QX TV, Cultural Experience Television. We will be right back. Visit Elias Restaurant, a unique Greek Caribbean fusion restaurant where the food is heavenly, the service divine, and ambience mesmerizing. Enjoy bakes and saltfish, roti, jerk chicken, curry chicken, stew fish, oxtail, curry goat, stew turkey, pea soup, cow-foot soup, sorrel beer, ginger beer, Slovakia dinners, clubhouse sandwiches, and so much more. Visit Elias Restaurant, located at 3310 King Street in Toronto, Canada. Bringing QX TV to you on YouTube has been a real labor of love, but we're going to ask one little favor, that you click on the like option below and the subscribe option below. That's right, like us and subscribe to us. And if you want to know every time we load up a video, you can click on the notification bell, and that will let you know every time we load up a video. But if you don't want to necessarily know every time we load up a video, you just want to like us and subscribe to us, just click on those options below so that we can continue bringing you this channel for years to come. Thank you for watching QXT. You are watching Caribbean House Talk. Okay, so welcome back to Caribbean House Talk, and we're about to go into our Dear Help Team segment of the show. This one came from you, Lady H. Is casual sex the reason for the decline in the marriage rate? Maybe people just got smart and realized marriage isn't what it's supposed to be for most people, for many people. We're not all lucky like these two here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. But do you guys think that's a reason for the decline? Are people just more independent? It might have some contribution.
It has some contribution, I would think, yeah.
Yes and no. I'm partial on that.
Okay. Why you partial?
It depends on, again, the trust and the relationship and, just the whole thing of being married for a certain time and where you're heading, what do you want and what you're getting,
You mean as you're getting ready or thinking about getting married?
Yeah, in that sense. So it all depends on the individual themselves.
Well, I see a lot of people who said they had sex on their first or second date who are married. So I don't necessarily think is that. I think, but it could have some contribution. But I think for me, what I think I see is that women are becoming more and more independent and able to take care of themselves. There's not a need so much for, let me get a spouse to help me pay the bill. And women are starting to get it that I could have the dating and the romancing and the other stuff there without having to have the burden of, well, I shouldn't say burden, the marriage was, but have the, I wouldn't put it like that, but without having that added responsibility of what it takes to be in a marriage. That's what I think a lot of it is, being more self-sufficient and feeling like, and also the divorce rate is so high. I think that's a big
but
one.
also, I think it's just so much more acceptable to not be married. You can just date. You can just live with your spouse now. Nobody frowns upon it. I think many years ago, people kind of frowned upon that. And once people are like, who cares? Nobody rushes to get married anymore. So
well, I just think it's.
People have been having,
like you said,
casual sex forever. So,
I know. I think it's women getting more independent. I think what you just mentioned in terms. I think it's that. I think it's I think also it's like I said, with women looking at the high divorce rate and saying half the will end up in divorce anyway. So
I think if anything, independence probably has more to do with it than anything else, because we've got our own. We don't have to rush into anything and rush into a marriage or deal with a man and his crap. Women just don't have to take it. They don't have to deal with it.
I had a friend of mine who the other day, there's some gentleman who was trying to holler at me, right? And I said, well, you seem like a nice guy. I'm not quite feeling, the stimulation wasn't there. Mental stimulation. And she said to me, oh, Trish, well, the thing is, you're not like me. You don't really need anybody to help you pay the bills and all of that. And I thought, oh my God. Yeah, that's a big one. So that's why I think the independence is a big part of it. I think some people are deterred by the marriage thing because of the divorce rate.
But I look at the young people now, they like college people. These kids, they're having more casual sex because there was a time when you're when you're at that age, you're thinking, well, the time clock is ticking. The parents want them to find someone, get girls to be married and all that. And I don't see that's declining. Mothers are not pushing their daughters to go find somebody. It's like everybody's just doing their thing. And these kids are more looking for a future, career-wise. And that's how I've been seeing, because I went to a meeting the other night, really like a meeting where a lot of young people were there and they were talking, discussing, the thought process was more towards my future, my education, how am I going to pay for this car that I really want and all that sort of thing. I didn't hear them. So, and they said, yeah, we do have sex and we have a good time. So I think that's part of it too, the way the young people are looking at life.
I used to be that really straight-laced person that if my daughter came and told me that she was going to shack up with somebody, I would want to strangle her, just want to just knock her out or something. I mean to advocate violence here, but I'm saying I'm emphasizing that just to show how angry I would have been. And no, my thing would be, I would encourage it the whole damn way, girl. You don't have to buy a car in order to try it out. try that sucker out and see if it's worth it for you.
Right.
Then you decide if you want to buy it.
Well,
Okay.
I'm not a hypocrite. I know what I did or done or whatever. You know, I mean, I lived with my husband probably a year. We got married. I was pregnant before I got married, but we were dating. We were together for 7 years before that. You know, so what I told my girls, I want you to do it this way. You go to school, you graduate, you meet a man, and you get married. That's ideal. Then you live with him. That's what I would love in an ideal world. But I'm not a hypocrite either. So my thing is, you know, I've had daughters live with their men. You know what I'm saying? But I also, with one of them, it was like 3 years, and I'm like, okay, enough. Okay?
Yeah.
At some point, either there's some marriage in there or no.
Yeah.
But you're not going to sit here and live with someone forever,
Right.
you know?
Right.
But, yeah, to each his own.
Yeah.
To each
his own.
That is so true.
All right, we're going to go into the holistic section of our show, and as we always gave a disclaimer, we want to make sure you know that these things that we talk about, that we cover, we're not saying suggest, we cover them, and it's up to you if you want to try them, but let's make it clear, we're not medical professionals, we don't know anything about medicine, we will not be irresponsible enough to sit here and tell you that these things are things you should use in place of your medication, or you should use things of any sort that might interact with your medication without checking with your doctor. However, how I say this is, and how I kind of look at this, if you're a reasonably healthy person, and you want to use some of these things in your diet, it doesn't hurt. The worst that would happen, it probably wouldn't do any good, but wouldn't do any bad. But you don't want to say, oh, well, you know, I was watching Caribbean House Talk, and they said, you know, this thing is good, and that could, and I'm not going to take my high blood pressure medication, and I end up with a stroke. Or my diabetes medication. No. These things that I'm mentioning is things relatively healthy people who want to just use these things as part of their diet. May work, may give you some benefits, it doesn't. I swear by many of the things that we've covered, but maybe that's psychosomatic. You know, you think something works, it seems to work. The placebo effect. So we're going to talk today about the benefits of rosemary. Benefit of rosemary, which is a herb, right? You could Google it. So rosemary has many benefits, and especially that has to do with cognitive stuff. People with dementia or memory issue.
Yeah.
So it has a range of possible health benefits.
Yeah.
It improves. It's reported to do these things. Improve brain function, stimulate hair growth, may help relieve pain. Repel certain bugs if you want to use it as a bug repellent.
Yeah.
May ease stress, may increase circulation, may help perk you up, so it's some kind of a mood enhancer, it's reported. May reduce joint inflammation. And I started using this a little while ago when I make my moringa. I would put a little bit in there. You know, I didn't put it in this one because I'm not giving people stuff just because I use it, right?
Put the leaves in your tea.
Yeah, I just stick a few leaves in there.
Yeah.
And because I have a family history of dementia, so I thought, okay, you know what, let me try to incorporate some of these things now I'm still healthy. And what I started noticing between that and the other stuff, what I use, is I use, for instance, a guava leaf tea. I use moringa. I use cinnamon. I use a little bit of rosemary. Turmeric, which, by the way, the actual turmeric plant looks just like ginger. And there's a white but no, I had the white one that looks exactly like ginger. And I got it in St. Vincent. And then ginger. So I put that little concoction together in a big cup of tea, and I drink that every morning on my way to work. And what I would say, I used to have a lot of joint pain in the winter. And I have noticed that this winter, as horrible and cold as it was, I do not have any joint pain.
Is the turmeric? Is the turmeric?
Okay, I don't know which one, but I'm telling you, I have no joint pain. And I said that to my daughter the other day. I said, wow, I don't have any inflammation.
Turmeric.
Yeah, I said, I have no...
Take away the inflammation.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, it's like it cleaned whatever that was out of me. Another thing that this is reported to help is cancer, liver and digestive health. It's supposed to enhance that, as well as good for food poisoning.
Your libido too.
Is it your libido? Ooh, clearly.
I did read up on it, you know, and they stressed that that it helped. So just want to tell you, ladies.
Oh,
You.
Don't tell me.
listen, it's 3 days a week. You know, oh my
We've gone to
God.
4 now.
Oh my gosh.
Spreading rumors.
So
Oh,
that is the benefits of rosemary. And there's another thing that I think we did a segment on it, which I swear by. You know, sometimes you have a bit of gingivitis and you have bleeding gums. Well, all of a sudden I was having that issue, and there was a supplement that I use. What is it? CoQ10.
Yeah, CoQ10.
It disappeared and never to return.
CoQ10.
I used to suffer from dry eyes. I love tamarins. So I would buy the tamarin in the box and I would sit here and just shell a number of them and eat.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was good for dry eye.
Tamarind is
All of a sudden,
fantastic.
my dry eye had never returned.
Oh man, tamarind is fabulous.
Yeah.
Tamarind is fabulous, but it messes with your potassium too.
It does?
You know
freeze
what
it
I
or
went
what?
to that? I had to take a test when I was going to do my eye surgery, and they wouldn't let me do the eye surgery because my potassium was so high. I had bought a box of tamarind, and I ate the tamarind in one day.
Oh no, you overdid it. That's the thing. Like I'll get a box that would last me.
And
a whole week.
I couldn't. I was so embarrassed. I couldn't even tell anyone. You know, I'm saying, but it had to be the tamarind because he says, "Are you eating a lot of banana?" No, I just have half a banana in my smoothie. And he says, "Are you eating a lot of oranges?" I haven't eaten oranges for a long time. So what could be it? The tamarind.
My mother got a regular heartbeat and went to the hospital. Her potassium was very high. You know what she had a lot of? Because she loved it? Breadfruit. There's a lot of potassium. So that's why I'm saying you have to be responsible with this stuff.
You have
to
to
tell
be
your
really,
doctor if you're trying to do anything that you're not sure how it's going to interact with your medication, you have to be very careful because something that is tasty and as good as it is for something, it could cause an offset somewhere else or interact adversely with your medication. So, breadfruit, I love my breadfruit, but it has a lot of potassium. Tamarind, a lot of potassium. So, you have to think about that.
Everything in moderation. That's what it is.
Yeah, everything in moderation. So we're going to roll right into the next segment of our show. Oh, Lord, Lord, Lord. Okay. You know what? I think I'm going to do this other one first. And then I'm going to go into a real juicy thing to end on a juicy note.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So we're going to talk about in something that's been in the news. By the time you guys see it may be over with or not as big a deal in the news. The governor of Virginia, he reportedly had a picture of blackface, which is imitating some kind of caricature of African American, with someone in a KKK outfit on his page in his yearbook, and this guy is now running a state that have a lot of black people, and people are naturally up in arms. What are you guys feeling on that?
What are your feelings?
I felt I was numb because I thought that Martin Luther King, he spoke of that so much when he was alive, and so I thought that you would never see that all these things were erased. You would never see that
A
again.
mistake a lot of us make thinking that.
And that was my problem. So I was so numb. I said, I can't believe this is happening. I mean, well, it happened a long time, but it's been there. It wasn't, erased. He didn't even try to erase it. Well, how could he erase it? Yeah. So, up to now, I don't even know, it's hard for me to
You're out of words.
Yeah. I'm out of words.
I think it is scary to have this man be head of a state. I
is.
understand that he was a young man and might have done this when he was ignorant about racial issues.
Yes.
I'm not saying he should be hang out to and tarred and feathered. I'm saying that you are a top politician for a state where a great percentage of your population are African Americans. First of all, this guy, everybody, I would like to think the Republicans have more kind of racist tendencies. This guy's a Democrat. And that's why a lot of people are saying, is there much difference between these two parties?
Absolutely.
And the Democratic Party, they should have come down on him even harder. But, I mean, there's only so much they could do. But they need to really, I need to hear them come out on this guy more. Because you don't want that kind of image. You have 2020 coming up. And you got one of your people caught. But then we have to be on the fair side now. Because his lieutenant, who is a black man, is accused of rape. Abuse. Or rape, sexual misconduct. And multiple accounts, reports of it.
Two people.
And so, and then there's another person, I think the Attorney General, who came out with he had some
another thing,
blackface thing that he did too.
Something, yeah.
And so it's like, oh my gosh.
It's just turning up,
Guess
and then
what?
that
I think
store.
If you dig in the history of every single one of these people,
Gucci with the blackface too.
Whether they're Republican or Democrat, I don't think it has anything to do with it. It's people.
Mm-hmm.
And if you dig into all of their backgrounds, you'll find something.
Oh,
you know what I'm
So
saying?
you think they should not make a big deal out of it?
No, I'm not even saying that. I'm not even sure what I feel about it. I'm totally disgusted. But I think what disgusted me even more is the fact that he first said it was me. Then he says, no, it's not me. See, I think people would have kind of like tried to forgive him more when you say, I made a mistake.
I was young, I was
young, I did a dumb thing, and I made a stupid mistake. And I hope that, that's not the person I am. I hope you can forgive me. But he goes and denies it. And that's what
made it look
disgusts me.
stupid. Yeah, that really made him look like, what kind of a fool do you think we are?
What kind of character does this man have? Mm-hmm. Now you're going to lie about it? You're going to go back and turn on your word that you said the day before? See, that bothers me more.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And the whole thing with once this happened with him, somebody goes and digs and brings out the stuff or whatever, however it happened, now the lieutenant governor. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Then the attorney. I think if you dig in every single, most men's background, political, people with power, they have done some kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Abuse women or something.
I mean, they're not gone public and they're people just like everybody else. Yeah.
Okay? So it's all disgusting. But my thing is, if you're going to have a rule for one, have a rule for all. So if you're going to do this to one person and say, let's get rid of them, then you get rid of everybody. Mm-hmm. All right? The same thing with the, the lieutenant governor. 2 women accused him. So what happened with Kavanaugh when the women accused him? People
he
didn't
became
believe
the Supreme Court
became the
justice.
Supreme Court justice. Yeah. So give this man his due day in court with these women. Let them have their own due day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I just feel like it's going to keep happening because this was the nature. Powerful men have abused women for years, for centuries, for decades. This is not new, okay? So how we react to it, treat everyone the same way.
I think what a lot of people of color feel is that this is something that has been going on for centuries, like you said, powerful men. Most of those powerful men are not black or people of color. But the system treats them differently. Kavanaugh went on to become the Supreme Court justice. Lifetime appointment. And those women did not feel they were given their day.
Look at 45. He's a president.
Right. He's been accused of stuff. He's the president of the United States. Okay. I think people have, when you look at Bill Cosby, he is in jail. Okay.
Get that other one,
right.
Harvey. What's his name?
Harvey Weinstein.
Get his behind in jail.
He's still out and about.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody rushing to put him in jail. Yeah. So I think what we're saying is it will change with the men who are abusing their power. Your day of judgment is come. The only problem I have with it, I'm not going to make no excuse for Bill Cosby or anybody that's doing that sort of thing. But my thing is the system needs to treat them fairly. He deserved what he got, okay, for the things that he's done. I see others out that deserve it too. Put them behind where they belong to. That's my problem. I ain't trying to make no excuse for them. So that's pretty much
what I think. This man lied, and just the mere fact that this governor sat up there and lied, that's why I'm even more so, he needs to be out of there, because he has no kind of moral anything. He's a big liar. You're going to sit up there, it's me, and then you're going to come back, it's not me. You know it's you. It's on your page. It's been on your page. You never saw your yearbook. You know what I'm saying? And the history of Virginia, of all places, Well, you've had your first slave 16, 19. You're not just in blackface, but you're standing there with somebody
in
Ku Klux Klan gear.
Yeah.
What kind of nonsense is that?
Yeah.
But it's setting precedents for the ones who are coming, who are going to be coming. You know, you realize that if you're tainted, stay back. You don't go in politics. You don't go in places of power. You know, so it's setting some precedents for those because this is what's going to go forward. You know, it's a different world order.
And say,
now,
this is what I did and I'm sorry.
Yes. So,
Air your dirt.
you know.
Okay, I told you guys I'm gonna leave the most juicy for last.
Okay, then let's get the juice.
B. Smith. First of all, I did not know who she was until this happened.
Oh, no.
No, not until this happened. I heard about it when she had dementia and disappeared, and then they found her. But I did not know who she was. Okay, I'm ashamed to say that, but I did not.
Yeah.
And she's kind of famous person.
Yeah, I've been to a restaurant.
But lately there has been a whole controversy, and a lot of people are weighing in, where her husband, who was taking care of her with dementia, Alzheimer's, has decided that after, I think, 4 years of caring for her, 4 or 5 years, I think 4 years, that he needs a girlfriend because he deserves happiness, and he's brought the girlfriend into their home, where she's helping to care for his wife. And he made a comment that just because you sit till that door spot does not mean you will have to give up on your happiness. I recognize that dementia, taking care of someone with dementia, is a painful and a difficult thing to go through. I would not make, like I said, I think I was mentioning before the show, that a lot of people who care for people with dementia end up dying before the people. It's that stressful. The thing that I have a problem with, though, is bringing your mistress into the house. If you want to move on with your life, why have you not divorced this woman? But no, you don't want to divorce because that money is not going to be yours. Okay? You do your thing.
Do it outside.
Do it outside. Why are you bringing her into the woman's house and letting everybody know about it? We didn't need to know this. Like, why are we knowing this? It is so disrespectful. You feel for that woman, even though you know she probably not aware of what's going on. You feel for her just in the disrespect of her memory and what she stood for, and for you to disrespect her that way. And to sit there, and then his daughter, who is a stepdaughter, and this woman has been a positive person in her life, she's sitting there tooting the daddy out, and they're making excuses. That's her father, I understand. But as a woman, you don't have any compassion to say, well, Dad, I love you, and I understand you need to move on with somebody. But do it undercover.
Do your dirt
Do your dirt outside.
But the woman, she's just as dirty. Because, I mean, would you move into that house with the man?
No.
But I suspected an angle there. I think they're trying to get a series out of this. Him and that woman and that daughter.
Possibly.
I think they're trying to get a series of some sort. There is no way that we had to know this. Okay? We didn't have to know this.
No.
But even if we don't know, other people know. And I think it's the shame that he's feeling because of what happened.
To know you want millions to know?
Something wrong. But at the same time, she shouldn't go in that house. And even if he go out with her, and she shouldn't.
What kind of a woman would do that, knowing that you wouldn't like somebody doing that?
No, why not this lady know what's going on? It's the respect.
Yes, just the respect. I don't think anybody's beating him up if he had to go out and get a girlfriend.
Nobody would ever do that.
Because her mind is gone. He's still caring for her. But do it with discretion and respect. You don't need to have the world knowing and have your girlfriend and your wife there and you're patting her and her head type of thing. Come on. Like, what were you, who raised you to think that this is okay?
And sleeping in the woman's bed.
This woman is a multi-millionaire and this woman is there enjoying the comfort of this woman's house.
Yeah, let me go in.
And you gotta ask, does she not have family? I know your spouse would have the top, they're the force, they have the most control over what happens to you if you're in a situation like this. But in this one I call an abusive situation. Does she have no family that could petition the courts and say what he's doing is wrong? Because if you think about it now, you all know I'm a little paranoid, so okay. If this woman says, you know what? this old bag ain't dying fast enough for me. This poor woman is like a kid, an infant who doesn't know. She could be in danger of being hurt. Her food could be tampered with. I'm just saying. You don't know, because if you're sick enough to go in another woman's house and have your face on TV and appearing on Good Morning America, wherever the hell you're appearing on, and don't think there's anything wrong with that?
They both low lives.
They're low lives. Yeah. They're low lives, and she doesn't have anything. And trust me, they're trying to get a show, a movie out of this.
They're sick.
And I think a lot of people had a problem with the fact that this is a white woman. I just think, regardless,
woman color,
I don't give a damn what green. If you're green, it's terrible. Whoever you did it with.
Yeah, they both no good.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, and the wall coming too. You could have done your shit out there, and nobody that met you out with another woman was going to make a big deal because they know your wife is with Alzheimer's, and at least you're taking care of her. But you didn't have to do that to her memory. Oh my God, like, have some respect for her. This is terrible.
A legacy.
A legacy, for God's sakes. Anyway, you can email us if you have any questions for us, or you want to have a comment. You can email us at contactus@uxtv.com. Join us on the next edition of Caribbean House Talk, where again we aim to bring you the issues that are funny, that are curious, and that are even carefully serious. By the way, I forgot to say, I am wearing one of my wife's creation, my, what do you call it, a pancho? Wrap. And then there's a matching scarf. So this thing is getting more wearing than you could ever imagine. I just love this outfit. And the colors are beautiful. They really stand out. So we're going to end on that note, and we'll see you on our next edition of Caribbean House Talk. Bye-bye. Bringing QXTV to you on YouTube has been a real labor of love. But we're going to ask one little favor, that you click on the like option below and the subscribe option below. That's right. Like us and subscribe to us. And if you want to know every time we load up a video, you can click on the notification bell, and that will let you know every time we load up a video. But if you don't want to necessarily know every time we load up a video, you just want to like us and subscribe to us, just click on those options below so that we can continue bringing you this channel for years to come. Thank you for watching QXTV.